Ah, worked. Okay, hello and welcome to Evil Ginger Miniatures. After the final attempt to prevent me from going live at all, and there being a last minute technical difficulty where it decided that it was going to be buffering for an excessively long amount of time before it actually went live, and I had to reload the screen, and I thought I had um, basically killed the stream completely by doing so, but it appears to be working. Anyway, enough of that. Hello and welcome to Evil Ginger Miniatures on the day of the great eclipse in the UK, which I will be going out and having a look at after this is over, because I believe we got at least a partial eclipse where I am, so I should be looking at that. I've seen a partial before, and it was quite impressive. It was 25 odd years ago now. The sky went a very interesting colour. Anyway, this should have been yesterday. Unfortunately, as the joyous end to a not particularly brilliant day, I ended up with technical difficulties. I couldn't get this. I set this thing up in the morning on the laptop, and I couldn't get it to work either through OBS, the streaming software, and when I restarted the machine and tried it directly through YouTube, which is what I'm doing at the moment, which is why I'm not going to be using all the camera, other cameras. It wouldn't work there. So did a couple of test things, which suggested it would work, but that was after I'd given up on the whole day. To be honest, had a nap and reset the old Neuriones. And just now, when it started buffering and wasn't starting a stream, normally buffers a few seconds before it starts a stream, which is why I sometimes quiet for the first few seconds because it's not actually saying anything. I thought, oh, look, we're going again. But obviously, we're not going again. It's all working reasonably well, and we can carry on as planned. Basically, this is the usual catch-up stream on things that are going on in Evil Gingerland. If you've been following the Facebook page, you've probably got most of this already, because I have been posting like a maniac. Didn't post much yesterday, as I say, it was one of those days, and I planned to do a lot of things off camera, and they didn't get done either. So what we have at the moment is we have my Warhost forces and one stray Frostgrave guy, who is a demon marksman. He's pretty much finished. I need to do the sand on his base. We have an orc. These are Warhost. That's there now. That's all Warhost. We've got an orc sub chief. He's standard, which I need to find a nice flag for. His bodyguard and his musician. There's a orc chief who will be cavalry, but I haven't got that sorted out yet. We've also got a wild man. That's the standard bearer. That's the command musician. These aren't quite as close to being done. And this is the wild man chief with his spear. Again, coming along. I also have sitting over here a great load of various troops from the retinue of William LaMarshal, including a mercenary retinue who are mostly going to be in the king's colours, i.e. red, with the 3 leopards. Incidentally, English heraldic lions are actually leopards. The leopard's pursuant, not lions. The Earl of Pembroke had a lion on his standard, but it was a lion rampant, and I'm having a little bit of difficulty getting decals for the shields, as I was going to do some of them with, and some of the surcoats with them as well. As you get to decent decals, you can actually work them into cloth. But that's going to be that's to come, so that might be a little while. That's the John Martin's collection. I'm also doing a little 500-point retinue for the who's going to be him in previous time before he had a terrible accident, fell off his horse. Let's see if we can get some of these to show you. These are the closest to being finished of this batch, and basically just before the before I started setting up for this, I actually got some wash on them, so they need going back through and re-highlighting, and they need obviously sand on the bases, and some of them need a few bits and pieces picking out on them. And of course there's metal work on the swords and the daggers. Be very careful with these, because the last thing I want is to end up with having them all in a heap. And there's more of them in a really useful box, which is over here, including figure I'm doing for the actual saintly Andy Murby, who is very much John's guardian angel, and I'm going to get some red crosses to put on the surcoats of those, front and back. Somewhere back here, standard bearer and a musician, and somewhere in here there is a John figure, but I can't remember. I think it hands on it. Slippery guy. And then there are things like this billman, who is from the marshal's retinue, and he's in the livery colours of the marshal himself. And we have these guys in the red tunics, in the red armour, who are mercenaries, but they're in royal service. So these will have the 3 leopards on the shield, or if I can find the decals for them, and they'll be carrying the royal standard, but they won't be carrying the king's standard, because John himself won't be present, because he would have to be an overall retinue leader, and this is meant to be reinforcements going to the rescue of John, who has got himself into some trouble. And I'm probably going to be doing a counter retinue of rebel barons who will be trying to stop them at some point, probably over at Bosworth, because Bosworth is a great place to game. It's just a bit of a swine to get to. What else have we got to do? I've got a minefield to start on properly downstairs. I've got loads of stuff still to box up. I'm waiting for some big boxes to put sprues in, because I have got hundreds of sprues everywhere, and I really need someone with OCD and to go through them and organise them. I don't have that sort of OCD, so that's not a thing that's going to happen. And there's more orcs coming. I'm using the Saxon, the unarmoured early Saxons, as the basis for them, with bodies with Oathmark goblin heads on them, sorry, orc heads on them, and like these guys, they'll have orc shields. This guy's got an orc head on him. He's got a War Games Atlantic falchion, but he's basically a late Saxon infantryman, feared, select feared. Got to finish the shield off. The shield's basically black with metal bits on it. Not done the metal bits on it, but basically this will be similar to the other orcs. Will be similar to this bodyguard unit, but they will be less well armored and less well equipped. I don't want to flip that everywhere. And then, of course, I've got the Orc Warlord. This is the Orc Sub-Chief. This musician. Again, that's a late Saxon with an Orc weapon and a late Saxon horn, and the cloak here is green stuff work that I did over to cover the cloth cloak, and it's meant to be a bear skin or something like that. This guy's cloak actually came out of the Vikings that I based some of these on, and there'll be some coming with the Saxons. So the better units will have the bearskin cloaks, and I'll be using orc weapons mixed in with common spears. But I'm looking forward to playing Warhost. I'm rather hoping I can find somewhere I can play Warhost. I've got loads of scenery for that sort of thing, and I can build more very easily. And it will be a fun project to show off to you as I'm doing it. Again, all of the army lists that I'm building for Warhost are on the Patreon for free, and the pictures of stuff, the units as I finish them will be up on there as well, so people can see what I'm getting on with and where I've got to. But as I say, there is a paid level on the Patreon, but it's basically there is somewhere I can store files, and it's a lot easier than the old blogs I used to use. But I suspect you're all outside watching the eclipse, which I believe is due in this sort of time, somewhere about 7:20. Didn't realise it was on, otherwise I'd have left this till next week after yesterday's difficulties. But I really shouldn't let, it's a matter of getting back on the horse. I've got lots of stuff to build, I've got lots of stuff to do, and I'm really looking forward to getting on with doing more stuff. And I've ordered the heraldic animals for the my lovely edity guys, Normans, which are sitting downstairs, and that's pretty much where they've been waiting. And then I can get them based and finished, and I can get them off to him, and we can start doing edited gaming stuff. And when I've completely cleared the back table, we can start playing, and you can start seeing solo games, and you can see my heroes who are over there still. And again, they need camp guards, and some of those will come out of the Saxons, probably Saxons without all of the really elaborate sort of very Saxon stuff on them. Might use some helmet heads and stuff from other groups to make them a little less sort of barbarian-y, so they will be nice and simple figures. So our heroes are coming along. I've got some encounters worked out for our heroes. I've got the beginnings of the first scenario written. They'll be stuck up initially on the paid encounter when I've run them, and we'll take that from there. Other things I've got planned: more dungeon floor plans, because I'll need them for the our heroes thing, and general scenery. I've got a Roman villa to finish building. I've got a load of Dark Age, early medieval buildings to do, which again are in the workshop. and again need me to have desk working space to be able to do that. So that's what's going on with that. Uh, I've I've commissioned some more artwork for the channel. I'm after a channel banner, and I'm after a specific uh, icon for this thing. Uh, it's going to be in the style of the one I use for Evil Ginger in shorts. So it's going to be probably a dwarf sitting behind a desk as if they were a newsreader or something like that. The channel banner is just going to be, I don't know what it's going to look like because I'm leaving it to the artist. But as long as it's got the strapline that I use, which is Figures with Attitude, it will be fine by me. As I say, the artist I'm using is extraordinarily talented, but she wasn't very busy when I commissioned the first piece, and now she's got more work, so I'm back in the queue for that. So it's all good. I'm glad she's got work, because she's one of these really talented people who are chronically sick and work when they can around it, and I can appreciate that, as I have my wibbles, as you probably know. So what else have we got on? Orange Cat Games has a Kickstarter going, which I have backed for their adventure log, which I will be using to log, well, to journal all of my online solo games. So I'll start with the Hackmaster base game with the Tieflings from our heroes. There's also a Hackmaster Kickstarter going on for the 2025 edition, or for the 25th edition, 25th anniversary edition, which I'm not backing initially because really I don't have the money at the moment. And owing to technical difficulties at the beginning, it rather upset me because it looked like they weren't doing anything that wasn't a PDF outside America, which is the sort of stupid thing they would do. And as I was in a bit of a fragile mood, it was thing. So I should be buying the books when they come into print, which they should do sometime in 2028-ish. But I should be buying some more Hackmaster books over the weekend. Sorry, over the end of the year, and I will also be hopefully playing in a game. As I say, I had the opportunity yesterday, but that didn't work out, and so there's always next week. I've got the character figure done. I'd show you them, but they're downstairs. I've got the character done, but I haven't written them up properly. And again, the character sheet will be going on the free patron level when I've got that done, because there's a very nice form fillable character sheet which works really well, and I can stick it onto the as a file attachment to an article describing the character. I haven't got a name for the character yet, but I know they're a ranger, and first level ranger is quite useful, an archer with a short sword and a buckler. So what else have we got on? Not a great deal, to be perfectly honest. I think I've covered all the bases, and I'm sure you'll want to be outside and watching the eclipse. I should be popping out in a moment and watching the eclipse, and then I'll be coming back and doing more work on those, because that's what I do, more work. And I'll have to plug my phone back in because I had to unplug it to get the lights sorted out, because I need to sort out an electrical sockety thing so that I can plug 3 things into a double socket. Anyway, I think that's enough for me. You have probably had about 15-20 minutes of me, and I'll be back with something recorded later in the week, probably about the state of the Warhost armies as far as I've got them. There's a huge number of dwarves floating around in here, which are going to the opposing force mostly for the orcs. Emrakil, who's the mage for a human retinue, and the wild men, who are probably his opposing force, are a completely separate group, but basically there'll be a lot more about Warhost later in the session. I flashed my Warhost book, but I put it in the filing cabinet and I'm not raking around in there to get things out in the middle of a stream. Anyway, thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody, and goodbye for now. If I can find the in stream thing, which I always think is down there, but it's not, it's up the top. Take care, everybody, and goodbye for now. Bye.